Bro, could you have any more product placement happening around here right now? Look at all the cargo bay swag, bro.
You know, I could have more, but I figured let me just be tasteful about it. Get the dad hats. You need that for Christmas.
Right, but the hoodie's where it's at, the one you have on right now. So
if
you're hearing this podcast, and you're not watching it on YouTube at your fave homie JR, I recommend that you do. This is the one you were wearing down in Texas, right? When you were playing pool?
Even the back. It's got a big lobster on the back. Can't really see that.
Dave, podcasts work when you talking to the microphone.
Into the what?
You don't put your back to the microphone. But no, that looks super high end, dude.
Yeah, tons of details, even down to the strings. It says Cargo Bay on the side, and then on the bottom is the claws.
That is attention to detail.
Lots of hits. So shout out to Ryan for hooking it up. I said, hey, I'm going to Austin. Give me some swag to wear so I can, show it off. Like, just give it to me for free. I'm your brother.
I'm going to be that one guy real quick. Wow, must be nice.
Jeez, must be nice.
Just over here wondering, like, where my gift box is, bro.
Hey, you know what? I think we're going to have to call the big man. Actually, we're going to have to talk to Matty B.
Matty B and the place to be.
He's the one that we need to talk to. So, I was in Texas playing pool, just hanging out with the boys. Me and the college buddies, we get together every year. We meet up. It's been 18 years running, and we just watch Band of Brothers. That is the whole goal of the trip, is to watch all 10 episodes. So it doesn't really matter. We just need... In the past, we needed the DVDs. Now we just need whatever it is, streaming
whatever
platform.
Streaming on, yeah.
So it's
so
Netflix.
18 years. This must have been happening since like college times.
Yeah, since probably started sophomore year. I don't know if I made it to any of the college ones. Maybe.
Okay.
We were all friends by then, but they started it. It was all guys in the band, Santa Clara. Shout out Santa Clara Bronco Band.
Nice.
You've been to a game. You've heard them play.
No, dude, it's intense, and the band gets super into it.
Yeah, we did. I like to think of us as more of a fraternity, unofficial fraternity / drinking club that was talented musically and practiced like once a year probably. Hey, new song? All right, practice the new song. All right, we got it. Let's go.
Flight of the Bumblebee, 3, 2, 1. As long as you got that in your back pocket. So, okay, tell me, you've been doing this 18 years now. Why Band of Brothers? I don't even know what this film is. And 2, do you always go to the same place, or do you mix it up and do this in different locations?
So we always pick different cities. And recently we did draw straws to see who gets to pick. And I actually get to pick. I won. They did a randomizer. And I said, going to Bar Harbor, bub. Like, that's where we have to go.
Yep.
It's just been, all kind of different spots. Band of Brothers is a 10-part series on HBO.
Whoa.
Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks produced, and Tom Hanks' son actually plays a role in one of the later episodes, Colin Hanks. So it's about World War II, and we had a guy in our band, Zig, rest in peace. He was class of, I think, 77, one of the class of 70, but he was in combat. And he was in the original band before the band got disbanded sometime in the early 90s, I think. And then my buddies Taylor and Andrew brought it back my freshman year of college in 2005. That's when I joined and met those guys.
Wow.
And Zig was still around the area, and he played the sousaphone, which is the big tuba. And he was in the band, dude. He hung out with us. He's the coolest guy ever. And he had some really tough last year or so, had health problems and ultimately passed away due to that. But I think part of the inspiration was the show had just come out maybe a few years before we started college, and having Zig in the band, I want to say Taylor knows the better origin story, but they were like, well, this is no brainer. I think they had maybe an army party, in college, a theme party. And from that snowballed, let's get together and watch it. And all of us have stayed friends since 2005. Some guys have been friends a little bit longer.
Wow. That's so rare to have friends that long. You're easily the longest friend I've ever had, 25 years.
Yeah.
But outside of you, it's not even close. So for you to also have 18, 20 years in with some other folks, that's got to feel pretty cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be coming up on 20 years soon. Next year will
Golly,
be 19,
man.
and it was good for me to. It was good to get away. It was fun. Austin's a great city. We walked on. We were staying near 6th Street, and then we walked by on Saturday night Joe Rogan's comedy club, the Comedy Mothership, and he transformed an old cinema, into his comedy club. And it looked cool outside. Dude, it was mobbed, though. So many people down there just going out. And all of us are in our mid to late 30s, and we just, we can't hang like we used to. It's different. You got to, get
dang,
rest.
was it 8:30, bro? What are we doing, man?
Yeah, and, all the guys are away from, wives and kids, and we're kind of getting after it during the day. But most of our day is inside, and we're watching Band of Brothers. So it was nice, but I got back and been working on getting the building done for Double Play Collectibles, and we finally got our occupancy permit, and we need one more permit before we can get in there and actually get to work on what I want to do, not build the building. So we're close. We're really close. And also, I will save the announcement for later in the episode, so you guys have to listen a little longer. But
our apologies that you have to listen. All three of you.
You know what? I was gonna do that. But now that I think about the timeline, when this comes out, those of you that know me will already know that the app has launched. This app I've been a part of, and JR was a part of it for a little while in the infancy stages, learning about, the opportunities and the possibilities of what it was. And it is called Treasure Games. So if you go to treasuregames.fun, you can sign up.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah, it's a real thing. .fun. You can sign up.
Go.
There's an app element to it, but here's the skinny of it. And I made over 100 videos. I'm one of the hosts, one of the main hosts of this thing. I'm the Carson Daly of this platform app.
My
game.
dog.
It's a national treasure hunting game. So you can hunt for treasure. We have lamps hidden all across the country. There's 10 of them. And each lamp, if you find it, is worth $1 million, 7 figures.
What?
Or $1.2 million worth of real life wishes. So you get 3 wishes, like a genie in a lamp.
Right. The X-nay on wishing for more wishes.
You got it. Exactly. You can't wish for more wishes, infinite this, infinite that. And the third wish, it has to be for someone else. So a friend, family member, organization, someone in need. So you have to think about it, 1.2 million. So a lot of people I've been talking to, it's 500,000, 500,000, and then 200,000 for charity or whatever. But you could chop it up any way you want. Just has to be specific. The reason why you might say, oh, well, I'll just take the cash. Well, here's the catch. The tax man's coming for you, right?
He is always, dude, look out.
Where's he at? Oh, what's it? I don't have nothing. So 37% bite out of that million. So
oh my goodness,
$370K gone.
He's a heel.
So, still 630,000. That's a lot of money.
Playing a game, right?
But hey, no tax implications if you take the wishes. So I always tell people, take the wishes. I've learned a ton becoming a host, and I've learned a ton from you. Cadences, just all little tricks, all kinds of stuff. Yeah. Especially, dude, the audio processing. I've been able to push out so many videos because I'm -3, and then do normal. I'm done. It's so fast for me. And I keep thinking of that show or the game HQ. Do you kind of remember that game HQ, the trivia game that you could play live?
Yeah, I think so. Was that one of the ones that was touring or no?
It was, maybe it was. They had a few different hosts, but they had the one guy, Scott Rogowski, who would jump on there. He'd be like, what's up, HQties? And it was a whole thing. They had the Rise and Fall documentary already came out, came and went because it would glitch and crash. And think about it, you got millions of people on there at once. So there's some bugs in our app. Of course, it's new, but we're, there's 6 of us building this thing and a development team. But look, the bottom line, all that, right? The money's there. The money's real. This is the first startup I've worked for that I got paid week 1, which is weird. Man. In a startup, they're oh, when we cash out, when we sell, you'll get paid.
We'll give you options if this thing works.
Yeah. And in this case, I was oh, I already got a check. Oh, I already got 2 checks. Oh, I'm about to get my 3rd check. Man. So That's just like my pitch to all of you listening. It's $6 a month or $50 for the year if you want to play.
Oh, wow.
And you could win the $1 million on the very first day.
I have a lot of questions.
All right, hit me. That's
right.
my pitch.
Okay. And this is called Treasure Games.
Treasure Games is the platform, and our first game is called Wish Lamps. So you have the lamps are literally hidden around the country, and you have to find them by solving clues.
Wow. Okay, clues. So hold on here, because I want to try to figure this out. The way that you're describing this to me is it almost sounds not so much virtual reality where you're wearing your Oculus or whatever, but almost like an augmented reality, kind of like a Pokemon Go.
Okay, Pokemon Go is probably the best similar situation.
I just recently gave up that game, but I hung on to it for years because it just kept getting better, even though the popularity kind of waned a little bit. So essentially, it's like an augmented reality, and you're out there, and is there like your cameras on, and you're trying to look and find these different lamps and solve these clues and these questions kind of stuff?
So there's no augmented reality in the first season. You'll use the app like each day. Like let's say you don't solve the first clue, which is a poem, which at 12:01 a.m. Eastern on January 1st, this poem comes out. Now, if you can figure out where this lamp is based on the poem, you can go find it. You have to go get it, and you win. But if you don't, which the higher percentage is that you won't, but you never know, every day there'll be 4 clues that will go to your phone, and you'll be like, okay, there's the first one. And each one gets you a little bit closer.
Like a push.
Exactly, like a push. And you're like, oh, okay, I got to solve this. And so what it's your job to do is like keep track of where it is. Now, the other cool part is as you move along, we have things like advantage clues and hints. So you can pay. Additionally, you don't have to. You don't need to use these, but you can, and it will help get you closer. Like one of them is a rangefinder. So it's like from where I think it is, it's like if I think it's in Miami or somewhere like that, I'm like, all right, get me within 100 miles of the lamp. Okay. Now, if it is, it'll tell you, but if not, it'll say, you missed, you're way off, you're off the grid. There's a couple other ones that are cool too called like compass. So it'll point wherever you are exactly to where the lamp is.
So basically, excuse me, what I'm getting from this is you're going to want to be an early adapter to the game. Like early bird kind of gets the worm in this sense because, I mean, think about this. If I'm playing against 10 people, my odds are significantly better if I'm playing against like 100,000, 1 million people.
Your brain, you went right there. Yeah, that's the push. Like if I'm playing against a couple thousand, it's better than playing against a couple million.
No, totally, yeah.
But there's 10 regions, so there's like the Northeast region where I am. It's big. It's Maine all the way down to the Carolinas. So that's huge.
Golly.
It's a lot of land. And then you got like Texas and a couple other states. You got a West Coast one. So the country is chopped up.
Okay, so you could legitimately travel as part of this game. You
could, yeah. So you don't have to find the lamp that's where you live. You can, if you think you know a better area, like if I think I know California better and I think it's there, I might, call my buddy up, be like, hey, want to be on my team? Like, we split the pot. Like, what do you say?
That's crazy. So what's this website again?
So it's treasuregames.fun. Okay. And you can, there's a free section, so you can like see everything happening. You can sign up totally free. You just can't play the game, and you don't get access to like all of the video content. But if you sign up $6 a month, $50 for the year, you get all the video content, and there's like a YouTube part of it too. So all of us hosts, there's 4 other hosts, including me. So there's 5 total. We make our YouTube channels in there, basically. Like this is easier to understand, and I'm posting like daily content there. Like, what's up, y'all? You guys, you find anything? You got any clues? Like, what are we doing here? So it's just so new and clunky. When I'm explaining this to the other hosts, we have a group chat. I'm like, look, it's not gonna go perfect at first. Just send it. Like, just any idea, just put it out there because the channel content that's more like anybody can do it. And when you sign up, like if you sign up, you can play. And you could.
I will be.
I know. I've created a monster already. You're getting the skinny on this whole game.
Yep.
And you can also earn money from your content. And then we have contests coming out. Like this first contest is the first 10 people to upload a 90-second video related to treasure hunting in any way wins $100. So
that's nuts.
If your video goes up and you're one of the first and it's verified, $100.
So again, be an early adapter to the game. TreasureGames.fun.
TreasureGames.fun and Wish Lamps. It's the only game available right now, and there's literally a $1 million lamp somewhere out there. I think right now they keep me in the dark to the bigger stuff, because if I knew
to an extent,
somebody would just be like, "Come on, Dave, I'll just get you drunk and you'll tell me."
Right.
And they might figure out a hint or something. So that's better for me. I'm just the host. I'm just here to give you info.
Yeah.
I'm just here to give away money, and then I think of it as like ESPN Sports Center. Like, I'm going to have these highlights coming into the Google Drive, and I'll throw them out, be like, look at the craziest, videos we got, submissions. Right. And this person just won, the contest. And I think it's got crazy, crazy potential.
No, for real. And you know what, just hearing you kind of describe it in its infancy, like this kind of, not reminds me, because I wasn't there, but it's how I can picture like the pitch for Pokemon Go or Harry Potter Land or like anything like that. That's like, okay, this is going to be the next wave. But when you're trying to just like, imagine trying to describe, there's going to be Pokemon just popping up everywhere, and everyone's going to be running around and you're going to catch them. Like, it sounds crazy. A treasure hunt, it sounds out there, but we've had these other, similar type things where now it's like, okay, I could see how this could be a thing, but don't be one of those folks that's like, damn, I heard Dave talk about this months ago, and I just kind of wrote it off to he was just excited about something.
Yep.
Really, really give this some eyes, or really give this some thought. TreasureGames.fun. I'm definitely going to be, bro, I'm always trying to get paid, so I'm going to be out there hunting, dog.
CTC. Well, it's funny because now I'm going to have to be like, you'll be like, hey, Dave, what about this? I can't tell you about that. So I'm just like, what an opportunity to grow personally, but also to like really make money. And it's going to be a platform where this isn't like a Twitter or an X or a Facebook. Like, this is not about like opinions and politics. Like, we're trying to give away money. It's just positive. That's all we're talking about. Treasure hunting, positivity, and like, who doesn't want to make $100 or $1 million bucks?
Right. And have fun. I mean, that's
it.
That's the best part, man. I love that.
So that's been my side hustle that I haven't been able to talk about. You're the only person that knew, because you got to be in some initial meetings. So otherwise, but even then, I couldn't even talk to you after that because there was so much else happened.
No, you're right. But it's so cool to see that even with this, full-time thing you're doing, trying to get the shop up and running, you're like, I'm not afraid to take on more full, like, how can you be more than full-time? Well, you can be if you're trying to juggle multiple different things. And the coolest part about it to me is my boy's going to be a host, which is something I've been for 10 years. And now to see you be able to do that,
bro, it's
just super cool, man. I can't wait to watch this stuff.
Dude, it's 10 years in, and I'm about to be one day in tomorrow.
Let's go.
So yeah, I'm pumped. I'm stoked about it. I think the last thing I'll say is it has been like such a balance doing the shop, doing treasure games, and knowing that I believe if all things go well, treasure games is just going to fuel all my other projects and creative ideas.
Yeah.
And, there's going to be a content studio at the shop anyway. So it'll just double it. I'll just move this setup over to the shop, and then everything I make on video will be there. And I thought, as much as I try to get away from editing and shooting, it's what I do. I just can't get away from it.
Know.
And I shouldn't. But I did take a good break there for the last couple years, not going as hard. And I think it's really paying off for me.
Yeah. But, dude, as much as it can kind of burn you out, I mean, how good does it feel to just like, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to put together this puzzle? That's like, for some strange reason, I just like editing things together, because you can kind of see it like, oh, okay, hold on here. Wait a second. Okay, what if just the whole process, getting the, shooting to edit and then getting down the bones of it and then, giving it the old spit shine and the polish and then the finishing touches, and then you're just excited to share it, man. I love editing, and I don't know anybody better at it than you.
Oh, thanks, bro. That was well articulated. It's a new puzzle every time. And after you've done a couple, you have the pieces. It just, sometimes it takes a lot longer than you'd like it to be like, it was sitting, the piece was right here. I just needed that. And that's all I had to do. Like, we had a chat about you putting together that unboxing video, and you're like, well, I have to make it vertical because, like, you've been hammering the verticals and shorts and, like, all that formatted content. I said, well, what if you just did a YouTube? Just because it's, the ring is so horizontal. It wouldn't have made any sense.
Dude, it is for real. And what Dave is talking about is I recently uploaded a unboxing to this channel right here on YouTube at your fave homie JR. And it was the WWE Ultimate Edition Attitude Era ring with the exclusive Kane figure.
Gotta be Kane.
Complete. That's gotta be Kane. So, dude, that'd be a dope trap song. Just that's gotta, Oh yeah, throw one of those in there. Dude, I'll tell you though, because I've been really hammering down a specific style, a specific way of cutting these together, and I get some nice compliments and feedback from you along the way, like the different hand swipes and the way I'm moving things around and just trying to make it
in camera. It's like, let me save my editing time, and how can I do this in front of the lens?
That's what I'm always thinking, man. And it was a little bit of a challenge, just because of how big this box was, this unboxing was. It was an undertaking, if you will.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. That's Paul Bearer, by the way. For people that aren't wrestling nerds, it's one of the best. Rest in peace.
One of the best. Yeah, absolutely. And it was, just a little bit. I don't know if scary is the word, but just a little bit outside my comfort zone from what I've been doing lately. And when I shot it with this actual camera that I'm cutting this podcast with right now. And I'm not as familiar with it as I am other cameras or even my phone, which is what I'm using, 90% of the time for a lot of the stuff you shoot. That's all you need.
Yeah.
But all in all, I think it came out pretty well. And right now I'm trying to cut together the short edit. And
dude, good luck.
Yeah, I know. I already shot So here's the good part. I got 2 of them. Okay.
Oh, nice.
So I was able to reshoot showcasing the box and the outside and the back of it and all the different features and pointing them out. And I was able to reshoot that. And I just brought that into my edit, and now I'm trying to reframe everything to be vertical instead. So it's a little clunky, to use a word that you tossed out earlier. But I'm thinking, and here's a little inside information. I can probably just disassemble the ring and set the son of a gun back up and film it vertically.
That's what that's what you should do. You have all the other parts, so you can cherry pick the good B-roll. But dude, that's
basically where I'm at. But dude, the reason I'm pumping out all this different toy related stuff is because I'm convinced in my mind that in 2024, at some point during next year, I will get paid to talk about collectibles. I will get paid to open them, review them, display them, hunt for them.
What?
It's gonna become a regular part of my day-to-day stuff. I'm putting it out there into the ether.
I like that. See, we're getting ahead of our resolutions here. New Year's resolution: get paid to open boxes. Come on.
Yeah. And I've already got a bite or so from a couple different,
gotta reel it in.
websites, but I'll tell you that off the air.
Nice, dude. That's excellent news, man. I think a lot of people listening, if you've been listening from the jump, you can see now how if you can partner up with someone who you're friends with, or you've been friends with forever, the synergy of talking all the time, working together, you're hearing the good stuff happening for me and for JR. That happens a lot because we share ideas, and JR's like, oh, I didn't think about flipping seriously, but now I seriously am. Yep. And to the point where you're like, well, I make all these videos, like, why shouldn't I do it with everything I'm opening?
Yeah.
I mean, you're just taking advantage of low-hanging fruit.
No, for real. And part of it, when I first got into this hobby of collecting elites, it was for me. It was only for me. I wasn't going to share it with the world. But then I felt like I was kind of not hurting myself, but I wasn't being true to myself, because there's a part of me, and I'm sure it's the, similar with you, where it's like whatever you're super passionate about, you want to share that with the world. And if you have these, certain skills with voiceover and shooting and editing, and, even if you're not top tier in your field, like I don't consider myself top tier when it comes to editing or shooting or what's cinematic. Like I'm often, even today, I asked you, hey, I got to shoot this unboxing for a client what am I supposed to do? And, kind of get some advice from you. But man, I love making stuff. So I thought, well, why don't I showcase myself out on these hunts? Why don't I showcase what I pick up? Why don't I showcase my own display? And it's not for like a grandiose bragging, it's not from that perspective at all. It's from like this is what I'm passionate about, and I'm trying to reach fellow people out there that are passionate about the same thing, which is how you build a community, no?
Yeah, you've summed up basically, I think it's a Mandela quote when he talks about, you need to be able to shine brightly. Like you can't diminish your own light to make other people feel comfortable.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you're bragging or boasting. You're just recognizing this is my talent. This is like my God-given talent. I need to continue to put it out there. Like you didn't spend all those years, 10 years getting better. And then, however other many years getting better at editing. Yeah. Hey, dude, a jumper is a jumper. It just got to go in.
Yeah. It doesn't have to look pretty all the time, right?
No, it certainly doesn't.
Golly, man.
Yeah, you got to share stuff.
Yeah, it's been a blast, man. And I just love making stuff, dude. And, I'm not even necessarily in it for things to like, oh, this video did, 500,000 views. It's like, well, of course that would be nice. But if
it'd be nice because of this.
Right. And here's a conversation I have with a superior of mine at work all the time. And it's like, well, if this doesn't do, up to this, then I take it down because it looks bad on me. And I'm like, I think you're kind of missing the purpose of creating. You're creating this stuff because you enjoy the process of it. Now, do we want it to do well? Sure. But if that's the only end result that you're after, then you're making things for all the wrong reasons.
And you're not examining why. Like, oh, that didn't work. Okay, but did you ask why?
Yeah.
Like people don't want to point the finger at themselves and say, well, I guess I rushed that audio, or I could have tightened up the edit, or maybe the concept just wasn't fully baked and you're rushing to get things out. Lots of people in corporate and companies, they have deadlines and people rush, get behind whatever. The creative process, like it shouldn't take forever, but you can't be too restricted. It's a very elastic thing. You can't just define it. Like the sandbox moves a little bit like this, a little bit like that.
And you can keep refining and keep refining and keep refining, but eventually it's like, no, this is cool.
Yeah,
and
dude,
then
just send it.
Yeah, just post and ghost, man. And I hope these do well. I have every intention for them to do well and connect with people, which is the overall goal of any type of content that I make, whether it's toy related, radio related, DJ related, whatever it might be. But it's more about, well, I just love to make it and I'm earning a living making it. It's just the coolest feeling in the world, man,
It's wild. It's wild that that's what we do for a living, is we make stuff.
Yeah.
And people pay us for it. I'm sitting here like, okay, if you believe in me as a host, I believe in me as a host.
Yeah. Bro, we used to have folks reach out and say, where's Dave's radio show? Where can I listen to that?
Well, you're going to have to download the app if you want to see me. I'll be there all day.
treasuregames.fun, man, and we're having some fun right now, bro.
I'm literally gonna be plugging this so much. We're just gonna get emails from fans like, Dave, we get it, I'm in there, okay? Like enough is enough. Bro, I think at some point we're probably gonna be getting paid on the podcast to promote Treasure Games.
Hey, whatever it takes, man. I'm in, bro. I'm in. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's been consuming. That's the stuff that's been like just consuming me. But you got any updates from work? Like work?
Man.
You know, you do go to the office like, 5-6 days a week.
No, I really do, man. This month, if you're in the Denver area, I'm hosting the White Claw Winter Wonderland. It's happening at Viewhouse Ballpark right downtown.
Dude.
And this is right across the street from Coors Field, so it's a pretty cool spot. And I'm in there emceeing, kind of hosting the party, getting people pumped up. And I'm also doubling as like a videographer.
Oh.
So that, because it's like I'm not going to go there and not make content out of it. Like that would be foolish, right? If you're going to say something, say it as loud as you can, as many places as you can. So yeah, that's.
But you know what? Sorry to cut you off. People don't get that, what you just said. They can say it back to you, but I see that they don't get it. And there's a lot of like shops and collectible stores around me, or even not around me, like New England, and I go in like, you're not doing the brand play. Like, yeah, sure, I understand. Get your product at the lowest price you can, sell it at a higher price and make your money. But you're missing all of these opportunities of like, don't just take a photo of a famous person that comes in. Like, tell me a story. Storytelling. That's, dude, I saw the Mr. Wonderful guy from Shark Tank, and he was on some clip talking about, I would have told you 4 years ago that the best degree to get was engineering. Top 3 degree, engineering. But now I would say arts. Because if you are good at what we've been talking about, getting on the mic, getting on the camera, taking pictures, visually telling a story, he's like, I'm paying those people $150,000 plus to have a degree where they know how to do this.
Yeah.
I was way ahead of the curve. In 2009, that was my degree. I've been only doing that. What people don't get, I've only done that ever since
That's so
09,
cool.
right? And think about it. All of us, DNR, since 05, 06, 07, have only been doing the behind-the-scenes videos on tapes, like all that. And I know we had this conversation a while ago. It keeps coming up. But, yeah, it was just what you said. Like, why not make a video? You're there. Do people, people need to know what you're doing. Yeah, you could take your check. That's cool. But.
Oh, I did.
But it'll help.
CTC.
CTC, baby. But it's going to help when they're like, wow, that video was so great. Oh, you made that? You were the MC? Oh, we want to have you back. Locked it in for life.
And that's what happened. Dude, it was the quickest little thing that I've done. I just shot some cool stuff of fun people having a fun time at a fun place and just pieced it together. Like, it was nothing extraordinary. It wasn't a super complex story to even tell, but that was the story that was unfolding before my eyes. So I just captured it, put it together in a creative way, and a lot of people were super into it. I'm back there 2 more times this month, which is great. Hopefully I can turn this into a more regular thing, because that's one of the passions in me is I love entertaining people. And it felt so weird, man. Like, once I got that mic in my hand and I started to connect a little with the crowd, I felt like a giant. Like, my confidence grew so high. And back in the day, I would have told you that's because I was playing a character, right? But now it's just because I was just being myself. You know what I mean? Even if the volume is turned up a bit, which is the old expression, right? I was being me. I was who people are familiar with on the air out here in Denver. And it felt super good connecting with the crowd. I got a bunch of compliments. Wow, like, you're so, like, at one point we had to give away 3 White Claw snowboards that were just so sick looking, right?
Dang, dude.
So everybody that came in, we doubled this as a toy drive for the Boys and Girls Club of Denver, which to me was like, this is perfect for me to come to. So I brought in some figs to,
naturally
donate to the kids, which is great. And a bunch of other folks did too. And if they did, they got a ticket for, and at the end of the night, okay, we're going to call off this number. And as you know, if you've ever been a part of something like this on the working side or the attending side, a lot of the numbers you call, those because they're long gone, right?
Yeah.
They're off to the next bar. They're off to get food. So you need to keep people entertained in the meantime, right?
Right.
And that's what I felt like I was able to do. And then management was giving me some really good compliments, like, "Wow, you actually really are good at this."
Yeah, they're like, Phil. You're like, I got it.
Yeah, I got it. I was like, "Don't even worry about it," you know? And it felt real cool, man, because, you know, before radio, that's what I was doing. I was DJing, but I was also emceeing my own sets. Like, I was doing both. And now you're telling me, "Oh, we want you just to do one?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh man, you know, like
Less
come
stuff
on.
to do.
I'm in, you know?" And then you know what? Just to be the little, you know, icing on the top, I'm going to film some stuff too.
It's smart.
I love it.
It's just
I love it, man.
you're like, yeah, it's like if somebody passed me a basketball, I have to shoot it.
Yeah, or spin it on your finger. I can't resist.
Or spin it on your, you know, if it's in front of you, like, I think the biggest, if I could distill it down, the lesson is be prepared for your luck. So, like, for you, it's fortunate that you're getting multiple gigs out of this, but you were ready. Imagine if you said, "Oh, I'm not really comfortable doing this and that," and just imagine. But you're not. You built your confidence up to the point where if somebody calls you, "Oh yeah, no problem." Even if you don't know everything involved, you're confident that you can audible when you have to.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. And it just brought me right back to just those like club nights that I would do in Portland and Lewiston and anywhere, and all the school stuff we did. And like those were a lot more demanding than. Here's the best way I could describe this to you, because you and all the people in Southern Maine will know exactly what I'm talking about. Right. Back in the day, there used to be a nightclub at Binga's Stadium.
Yep.
Right? Every Wednesday would be what? Ladies' night.
That's right.
Right? The most happening thing. Like, dude, I was there every single week. Every single week, bro. And there's still pictures that live online of like me there. I look
Internet's forever, bro.
Yeah. It is, dude. It is. Some of my outfits were questionable, but at the time, you know, I was rocking it. And there was a man that would host those events. He would show up for 2 hours, and then he would get to go home. And his name was Rob Steele. He ended up being my radio mentor. But I always thought, man, what a sweet gig. He gets to show up for 2 hours. He gets paid to talk and hype up the crowd. And then he gets to make that, like, party exit when nobody knows you leave. I'm like, that is the perfect gig. And that's what I'm doing right now. So the whole time I'm there, I'm thinking, this is the Rob Steele gig. And then literally as soon as the clock hit, you know,
you're just like,
my time to leave, handed the mic, grabbed my bag, shook hands. Nobody even saw me leave. You know, like, I was like, wow, what a cool gig. I love it.
A full circle moment right there.
No, for real. It was so weird. I got to call Rob about it tomorrow or something.
That's so cool that you were like, we all have those vivid memories of things that happened to us. And clearly there was one or a couple nights that mashed together and you were just like having that thought and it just stayed in there. You get on stage. Oh, this is what he felt like. This is exactly what it was like.
Yeah, it was really cool, man. And outside of those gigs, dude, gosh, I want to say like I'm a month and a half into my country endeavor, which, you know, it's been better than I expected. Honestly, it's very much the same as pop, which I think I've told you before.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, some people think of like country, right? And they think, oh, well, you must be on there, yeehaw and hey han, and you know all this stuff, thing, and you know,
right, all the like, prototypical things.
Well, no, not at all. I'm literally doing the same delivery that I always do in pop, which I do here in Denver and Baltimore, and I'm just slowing it down a little bit. You know, it's like I'm not talking to that 25-year-old girl. I'm talking to that 35, 40-year-old girl, which I'm like, well, man, that's a little more relatable.
Well,
you know,
sure, yeah. You're like, oh, yeah.
You know, oh, I get to talk to people my age. Okay, well, this is cool, you know. But I'm in one of those fields. I have one of those careers where it always keeps you young. You know, like, man, so many people that listeners of this show might even listen to on their local radio FM dials. Like, I promise you, a lot of them are significantly older than you think. It's pretty wild. It really is, you know? But it's just, it's been really cool, man. I'm on the air 7 days a week in a major market, which feels really, really cool. Which, if you were to go back and tell me when I first got my foot in the door that I'd be able to do this, you know, I would have told you that you're crazy. And the whole reason I'm saying this right now, again, isn't to be grandiose, look at me. It's to show you the benefit of being able to tell stories, whether that's even if that's for 10 to 15 seconds at a time on a top 40 station, or it's on a podcast you're doing outside of your employer, which this show doesn't pay us.
No.
Eventually, it would be sweet if it did. That's the goal, right?
Right.
But that's not why we're here. Like, we're not gonna just ditch the show next week. It's because I get to chat with my best friend.
Yeah.
You know, it's the coolest thing. So outside of radio, outside of these gigs and the toy stuff, I just did something for the first time this week that caught a lot of people by surprise.
Oh, well, do tell.
It's not even anything creative.
Okay.
I might be able to turn this into something creative just because of the way my mind works. I watched all 8 Harry Potter films.
Oh, you knocked that out in a week?
Got it done in a week, bro. And let me tell you, this is like 20 hours of programming. These movies are so long.
They just get longer as it goes, dude.
Seriously, dude. And
Sirius
I came
Black.
on here. Yeah. And all I wanted to say to you was, Happy Christmas, Dave. That's it. That's what I wanted to tell you right off the jump. But let me tell you, man, I distinctly remember in high school, especially like sophomore, junior year, I started seeing these Harry Potter books pop up everywhere.
Yep.
And these were like, no joke, these were thick books, right? And the only thing I was into at that age was rap, wrestling, and women.
Yep.
That's it, man. So I didn't have any time for...
No space.
Yeah, for wizards and witchcraft and giants and, ghosts and dragons. Like, none of that stuff. But let me tell you, man, I'm really happy that I watched them.
Good. That's good to hear.
So if you recall, me and you recently watched... Not recently. Gosh, I'm trying to think. When was this? A few years ago, we watched all of the Star Wars films up to that point, right?
Yep.
Because you have to at least be able to say that you saw them. I have a different reaction to Harry Potter than I did Star Wars. My Star Wars reaction, and I'm not comparing the two films, just that they're both long, successful franchises, right? My feeling with Star Wars was, I understand why people love it, but it's not for me.
Yep. It's canon. Like, for filmmakers, it's I always say, and I've said it to Joe forever. I'm like, dude, this is not about you enjoying this. This is a chore. This is homework as a filmmaker.
No,
all
totally.
Now all the references on memes or wherever, you're like, Star Wars, got it.
Yeah. So I didn't want to give my thoughts about Harry Potter until I watched all of them. I said, look, just for the sake, like, this will be my December thing. I didn't realize I'd hum through them in 7 days, but I did. And I can understand why people love them. And I also think they're super cool.
Right? It's such a good series. Such a good series. And Maddie B is a huge Harry Potter nerd.
Yeah.
You've probably been on the rides, though. You've been to, like, Universal, right?
I never went to Harry Potter Land. That was never a thing.
Oh.
Yeah, no,
well, now
man.
you're going to go, right?
Possibly, if the opportunity presented itself. But here's the thing, man. It was so weird because I was conversing with our friend Corey this whole time. And this whole thing came about because his son Ollie really wanted me to watch Harry Potter with him. But of course, I'm not there. He's not here. We're in different time zones.
Yeah.
He's it would never work, right? So I said, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm gonna watch these. It's going to be my thing for December because there's always some kind of theme. And watching these films, slowly but surely, you start to kind of just let yourself believe more. You can suspend disbelief quickly with these movies, because fantasy and, sci-fi, like I can really be into that kind of stuff. Wizards and witchcraft, like I can be into that. So let's see how they present it. And it was presented in a really cool way. There were several moments throughout watching all of these movies that I jumped out of my seat with excitement.
Dang.
So that's how emotionally invested I was watching these. And conversing with Corey back and forth, I had so many questions about what was happening, right?
Right.
And he goes, well, and if I hear him say this phrase one more time, I was about to lose it. And the phrase is, well, in the books, over and over again. Okay, well, JR, in the books, they go into more detail. Okay, well, if you were to listen to the books, I'm just like, no, I'm in this for how they present it to me on film. And because I've kind of stolen a piece of your mind while I'm watching this, I'm like, wow, look at how that was shot. Or,
right.
Oh, I didn't even realize how the shadow had been on this guy's face the whole time. I didn't realize he was a bad guy until now.
Yep.
Like
the way they light it.
Yeah, And I'll tell you, it's like growing up with somebody. Now, when you first watched these films, maybe you did it in real time as they came out.
Mostly, yeah. Mostly it'd come
Okay.
out, we go to the theater, and it was cool because they would release, I think, a lot of them around Christmas time.
Of course, right?
Yeah.
They say the Sorcerer's Stone is the best non-Christmas film. I did a bit on my show about it this past week.
Oh, it is quite good.
Yeah. So as I'm watching these all back to back to back, you can kind of see, oh, wow, they are getting a little bit older. But it's not as jarring as at the very end of the movie.
Right.
It's them as parents.
Yeah,
and it flashes back to little Harry and little Hermione and little Ron Weasley.
Yep.
In his hand-me-down robe. And I'm like, holy smokes, man. To think, the first thing that came through my mind was they don't understand the amount of joy and excitement they gave to an entire generation of people over a friggin' decade.
Yeah.
That is remarkable. And now people are starting, I've been openly talking about this a bit on my show. Like, hey, 3 down, XYZ to go.
Nice.
So far, this is my, every week, unsolicited, I'm giving people my Harry Potter update on the air. My bosses probably think I'm a crazy man. And I'm chatting with some folks about it today at Out the Box because I went off to go drop off some stuff to sell. And they're like, hey, did you know that there's going to be a new film coming? Or is it a show or something like that? And I'm like, well, that's kind of cool. The last movie came out in 2011, so you've been waiting over 10 years for this. If this comes out next year, I'm going to have to wait 8-9 months,
Man.
And that was kind of wild to me. If they actually do this, bringing back the Golden Trio, as I've learned they're called,
Yeah.
that would be super rad, man. I'll tell you, I got disappointed a few times throughout this because I was waiting for my guy Ron to become an absolute just world beater.
Okay.
Just badass. And I feel like I never quite got that with him, right? I felt like Neville was kind of more of a badass than Ron. Hermione certainly was because she had a mean streak, right?
Well, Neville has the best arc he's like a chubby little kid, and then he kills a snake with a sword. You can't get better than that.
Sick. Right. And this, okay, so all this is fresh on my mind. So I'm all over the map right now. Excuse me, I haven't written this out. I was disappointed with the way the first film ended.
Okay.
Only because I saw how the second film ended. When Harry puts the Gryffindor sword, was it? Through the snake?
Yeah, and the basilisk, yeah.
Yeah, that was the coolest thing, man. And the first one, he just touches the guy. So I'm like,
but
I don't know.
You got to think, he's just a little kid. What could he do? What could he act out and do? He's just little.
Okay. No, he was. And Daniel Radcliffe was the actor, right?
Yeah.
Little Daniel, his smile was so contagious when he would all of a sudden just pop out from behind Ron, just smiling so big with his little circle. Like, you're like, that's the cutest kid ever, you know? But I was a little bit disappointed how the first one ended. Second one ended great. I think, gosh, I'm trying to think of them in order. Was number 4 The Goblet of Fire, or was that 5?
I think that was 4.
That one was super good, man. That's the one with when they go to the World Cup, right?
They go to the Quidditch World Cup at the beginning.
Oh, man, that one was so good.
And that's a movie where things start to get like really dark visually.
No, they did.
And story-wise, you're like, oh, things have totally changed. It's no more like happy Hogwarts all the time. It's on edge.
And what's so cool to me about not experiencing, JR, well, in the books, because I like the way on film how it can subconsciously tell you, even when the opening WB logo comes up, they noticeably just get darker.
Yeah. Every time that logo, you go through it, you're like, oh, now it's just clouds. Oh, man, now it's falling apart.
Here we go. Yeah. The whole process was really cool. I'm really happy that I watched them. I'll probably watch them all again at some point. And now I'm starting to think, what's next? What's like a really popular franchise that I haven't seen? Corey told me to watch Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Yeah, you got to watch that because that's some origin stories behind some characters they talk about in Harry Potter.
Let me ask you this right now, because I haven't gotten a straight answer. Corey hasn't answered me back yet. Can I read to you the last text I sent to him?
Yeah. What'd you ask him?
Let me open this up. And you might have to bleep me here, Dave.
All right.
This was at 12:51 a.m. my time, okay?
So early over here.
I text Corey. It was like 2-something a.m. over there. I go, Dumbledore, you piece of And this was at the point.
Context.
Yeah, this was because I had been keeping up with him. He's like, hey, tell me what you're thinking as you're watching these. And I guess he had gone to bed. I wrote him, I said, Dumbledore, you piece of And this was in the very last film. And I can tell what happened, right?
It's been long enough. Yeah.
Okay.
Spoilers.
So in the last film, you learn that Snape was like a good guy this whole time, and I thought he was a bad guy.
Heartbreaking moment,
Snape, right?
When him and Harry have the moment, he's like, oh. Harry realizes everything.
Yeah, and then I'm like, wait a minute. Dumbledore is literally just leading Harry to slaughter this entire time, just stringing him along. So I got super upset about that because I got really invested in him as a wizard. Like, he was the top dog, right?
Yep.
And then I'm like, so wait a minute. He's doing this, but then he's in like this heaven, if you want to call it that. Some folks would. I would with Harry. But Harry goes, comes back to Hogwarts in reality. And he was so kind to him up there. And so, like, he was very smart character, Dumbledore.
But see,
right?
that's it. He's smart. He had no choice but to follow along with Harry doing that. So he protected Harry as best he could until he knew he had to die. Because if he had veered off at all, they wouldn't have been able to defeat Voldemort.
Yeah.
So he had no choice. Dumbledore knew, like, if I don't lead you to slaughter, like, you will have no chance to live.
But he truly wanted Harry Potter to die?
No, he wanted him to live. He wanted Voldemort to think that he was just keeping him out in the open and not as aware. And to get him to think that Snape was really his guy.
Oh, right.
And you could see, even to the end, Snape still thought that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, that's why I was just like, what is this? What is this? What is this? What is this swerve right now? And clip this part right here. Because I'm like, Dumbledore was my guy. I thought he was so great, and he's just so smart, and he helped Harry so much, and he taught him so well. And I thought Harry Potter could be like the next head of the dean. I get that's the way I kind of looked at Dumbledore. He was like the head wizard, the dean, right?
Yeah, he was headmaster.
I was like, Harry Potter can be that. And then like the way they described that entire backstory about Snape, and he had a crush on Harry's mom, and the whole movie, the whole series, you have your mother's eyes. You have your mother's eye over and over again. And then to hear it that final time I was like goosebumps. I'm like, holy smokes, man. So some of the storytelling was phenomenal. Certain films I liked better than others. I really loved them when they were little ass kids, like in the first film, right?
Yeah, like the first two are super fun.
Right. But then I also liked them as like the, older teen, and they're kind of dark now, and like it was just super cool, man. So yeah, I would definitely watch them again. Somebody who hasn't, you need to.
They're good family movies, because that's what we do. Like every holiday season, usually it's on. Like at my brother's house, I'll pop in. I'll be like, oh, which Harry Potter are you on? And I'll sit there. I'll finish the whole movie with everybody. Like it's at least an annual thing in our house.
Yeah. Like my favorite character right off the bat outside of Harry was Ron.
Ron Weasley.
I thought he was so cool because Ron was such a coward.
Yeah.
He was such a chicken.
The cowardly
right?
lion.
Yeah, but he made the sacrifice play for his friend. And that's when I was like, that is not my dude, because he was a little ass boy.
Right.
But I'm like, that's what I'm talking about, Ron. Like that was so cool. And experiencing all these movies for the first time, I finally got to hear where all of these sound bites come from and where all of this meme culture comes from.
Yeah.
Like 36, I counted them myself. I had no idea where that came from. And then, of course, you hear all over social media, do you want me to stop Snape from getting that stone or not? Not me, not Hermione, you. So I finally got to hear that for the first time. And, dude, what is... I was walking around my apartment screaming out, what was it? Infectus Patronum!
Expecto Patronum.
Yes. Dude, and like Stupefy, like all this stuff. I got super into it, totally nerded out, had a great time. I'll wrap the whole thing up because I could talk about it forever, but all in all, I'm happy I did. I really enjoyed them. Anybody who hasn't seen them, even if that's necessarily not in your wheelhouse, you owe it to yourself to experience it because it's such a big part of American pop culture.
Man, well said. A whole thesis right there. Dude,
not bad, right?
A whirlwind. Not bad at all. Because now I can talk to you and be like, hey, remember this? I'll send you a meme. You'll be like, oh, Ron Weasley. I got it.
Yeah, man. It was...
My favorite character was Dobby.
Yeah, dude.
I was so sad when he died. I was like,
oh my God.
I remember watching that in the theater and with my girlfriend at the time, and I was like, oh my God, they killed Dobby? Why?
Yeah. Well, when you saw that knife come through the portal, I'm like, they better not. No!
Had to.
Yeah.
Dude, Harry
I know there's...
You did it.
Go ahead.
You did it. You got through Harry Potter, man. You took it on.
It's about finding whatever brings you, and it's a simple word. It's only a 3-letter word, and it's become a big part of my life over the last several months, and that's doing what brings you joy.
I love that.
Simple as that, man. It's literally as simple as that. And
don't overcomplicate it.
Yeah. If you can literally just put yourself in those positions to be able to do that, you're winning, dude. Like
winning.
I remember years and years ago, I was like, if I'm not a famous rapper and I'm not on the radio and I'm not on tour and playing the biggest buildings and the biggest this, and then your passions kind of change and you find other things that you're good at that you can get paid for. And then it's like you fast forward to now. I don't have any of that same mindset. And a lot of that comes from wisdom from actually growing up, right? And now I kind of feel like I can sit here today as we're recording this on December 9th and say, I already feel like I won the game.
I'm with you. That's how I feel. I feel like I'm getting a second chance at a game. Like I got a whole nother game. You and me, we have like more games ahead of us. It's well said.
For real. Yeah. It's really crazy, man. And it feels so good to kind of get out of that proverbial rat race, right?
Yeah.
Like I think I finally found like a secret exit.
Side door.
Yeah. And now I feel like, do I have everything in my life that I want to achieve? Of course, I want to do bigger and I want to do better, and I want to continue to grow as a person and become a better man. But it's like as I sit here today recording this show with you, I feel like I've won the game. And I really want people hearing this right now I want that statement, to help put things into perspective of things that might be even happening in their own life right now. Like, do you have all your limbs? Do you have a roof over your head? Do you have somebody or people that really care about you?
Yeah, is your heart beating? Because I think about that every single morning now.
Right. Do you enjoy going to work each day? You know what I mean? And if not, there's certain things you can do, like just change direction. Right? Like there's so many jobs I worked that I didn't care for, and I'm sure you as well.
Yeah,
but it's like, okay. And before people think I'm preaching, it's because I've been reading this book called The 12 Pillars, and Dave is probably familiar with it. And a lot of the stuff is like opening my mind to things, and I've actually, as nerdy as it might sound, well, screw that. I just watched all 8 Harry Potter films.
You can't get nerdier, bro.
No. I was going to say, and to wrap things up, I've been doing book club every Sunday.
Nice.
So we're reading this book, Julia and I, together, and then we'll get on with her sister and her sister's husband, and we'll discuss it, and we're coming up with different, it's a really cool way to just open up your mind. And it's another thing that I needed, another outlet to go along with this one that I have with you. So
dude, that is literally mind expanding. Now you get to see just getting people's different perspectives on the same text. You say, wow, okay, I didn't think about it that way, but now I see it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, man. Well,
dude, that last part was heat. So everybody else,
you think so?
You could just skip to the end. That's where it gets serious. But we packed in a lot on this episode.
We really did, man. Make sure you go visit treasuregames.fun.
Fun.
The first game is going to be the Magic Lamps.
Wish lamps, baby.
Wish lamps, yes. And
magic money.
Yeah.
Come get some money. I got the money. I don't have the money personally. Don't come to my house. I don't have it. I don't have it there.
Show up.
It's somewhere else. You have to go find it.
It's out in the ether.
It's
for
out
Dave,
there.
my name is JR. This has been Hangin' with Homie. Thank you so much for listening. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And most importantly, remember, buy your Cargo Bay merch. And it's cool to be you. Peace.